Welcome to Educators with Oil. I'm your hostess, Ronnette Branham, here to offer biblical strategies for effective teaching. Today is sort of a reunion. Um, I've been gone for 2 weeks. I didn't have an episode in 2 weeks, and so today is the time where I'm coming back. I was going through a few things with my health. Then when I came back ready last week, I came back and my laptop didn't have a camera for whatever reason. So I had to think about, I'm waiting for some things to come in. I had to think about, what did I do before I got this new laptop? I went on live. And then there was a few things that sometimes we go through changes. We listen to what people say, and that causes us to take a step back. I don't want to be a part of that, like where people will say things negatively that impact your psyche. And I just want to keep on going. I just want to go and know that God will lead me every step of the way. Because sometimes we go through changes and people in their own stuff that they think you're not doing what you say you're doing. But I'm a teacher. That's what I am doing. I'm teaching every single day. That's what I do. I'm a teacher. Anything else is a work in progress. Work in progress. Me, sorry about that. Me, using the scriptures to lead me, being directed. I'm a work in progress. Who's going to ever be perfect? Nobody's going to be perfect. You know that I'm a work in progress. I talk to you about being a work in progress. I don't even make it a secret. Things that I would have done 5 years ago, I won't do today. Things that I've done 7 years ago, I don't do today. Things that I didn't do 2 years ago, I do now. So there's things I'm working on, things you're working on. My thing right now is, what do teachers need right now? I know what I need. I need it. So what I did, I took about a week and a half off from work. A little over a week and a half. About 8 days off from school. That's like 2 real weeks. 2 school weeks and a little over a week and a half. And I had to relax and get in, start over and revamp some things in my head, do a overhaul. And what am I here for? Again, we talk about that. What am I here for? What are we there for in school? Why? What kind of, we're there to educate? Let's educate. Let's stop worried about the little systems and things that are at play. Because if I look at the systems that are at work in on my job, in my district, that's some things that will make you um, want to say, I can't do this. I'm not doing this. This is not working, because a lot of it's not. So we have to work on us, and then we could be able to fly the plane, so to speak. We could be able to drive the bus or whatever, however you want to call it, direct the traffic. We have to do so much. And I know two things: that God will lead me, He'll direct me, and I just have to listen. I have to be open to His voice. That'll happen. And another thing, that I need to revamp, renovate, renovation, do some renovation work within me and with how I do things. So we could just do that and work on it. I don't know if anybody's here. I tried 2 times in 2 weeks to go live. Then I didn't. Last week it was, like, as soon as I got ready, I decided to try it out, and then my camera wasn't there. So mostly what I say is to go and do what it is you want to do. I have, again, I have scriptures that we need to work on with it, work on, um, because of it, because of what's happening. So I have some, like Psalms 32, God said, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. So we know, you know, like I said, sometimes we get stuck in what the district is telling us to do, with what our administration is telling us to do. Sometimes it doesn't even line up with what our job is. You know, they have, I don't even want to discuss that because it's like I need to relax. Um, the rest of the week I have off. We have NJEA. If you're a public school teacher, you may have Thursday and Friday only off. In my district, we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. We'll be back Monday. We get back Monday. On Tuesday, I believe it's Tuesday, we have parent-teacher conferences. And we have so many things left to unravel, to see what it is that is happening with our report cards. How are we going to report? Again, I don't know if you remember, I said I am a DLI, dual language, part of a dual language instruction. I'm the English half, where every day after literacy we switch. We switch from our homeroom class to the other teacher's class, the Spanish speaking world class. Then they come here, and then the next week we start with the other class and the Spanish speaking teacher's class. I start with her class, and then I switch after literacy and get my class back. So we have every day we have so many things to do, so much to do in a day, and it needs to be aligned with the other teacher. A lot of stuff. I'm not even here to talk about that because we already know our districts do what they feel is right, whether it's right or wrong. That's up to the end user, not even the end user, those who execute. The technical people who are the teachers. If it's if it's effective or not. I do know one thing: what they tell us to do cannot be effective if the teacher is not understanding of the concepts, of the framework, of any of that. And that's why I'm kind of working through it. But I decided to start from scratch, do what I do best, and that's teach. I had a discussion with my students who speaks English, who doesn't. We're gonna work on it. Only thing is, again, I said I wasn't gonna talk about that, but because I'm working with another teacher, I have to be able to do what I do uh in the realms of working in the dual language framework, because we have to stay on track with each other, and it takes longer for my English speaking world than it does for the Spanish speaking, because they're Spanish speakers. Now, we will both be stuck if, I don't know, everybody's in Spanish, but what happens if there's another language of French, a group of French students come in? What is a dual language French? It has to be their language, I believe. I don't know how many of you have enough for that. So because we're predominantly Spanish, this is where we are, Spanish speaking. So I know when I get a little bit anxious about what it is I'm supposed to be doing. And a lot of times the district does not have the answers. Even though they're directing you to do something, they have what seems like an overall view. This is what it is. This is what we're trying to do. Dual language, making sure every student gets that Spanish speaking teacher, right? All the little stuff that they're telling you to do, is it going to work? Do they have it down? They understand what it is you're supposed to do particularly? No, they don't. So this is where I have to back up and say, this is what I'm going to do to make it work for me, because it has to work for me. You could say in all reality, they could say to us, the student is the goal, working with the student, educating the student is the goal. But if you don't educate the teachers on what the framework is, you don't educate the teachers on how it should play out, it's not going to work. I don't care. And they have to have the teacher. They must have the teacher, as a part of it. They have to have the teacher as a go-to person, as an expert. If you don't help me to become an expert in this framework, it's not going to work. I don't care who says what, it's not going to work. We want to get this, we want to understand it, and we want to just be there. We just want to, you know, we want to get it. I don't know. We want to make sure we understand so we can execute. Period. I can't execute if I don't know what it is you want me to do. So I decided to revamp. First, get direction from God. Let Him lead me. I'm trying. Trying. I'm doing that step by step. I'm trying to do it. I'm working on if this is going to happen or not. And so here I am, starting from scratch in November. Starting from scratch. I'm starting from scratch. And I know sometimes there's other people, because if I'm going through this, other people have to be. Because I said in the meeting today, and everybody's asking questions. It's November. Today's November 6th. We've been in school for 2 months. We've been in school since September 6th or 7th, something like that. So we are having to start from scratch in November. How about that? So what I'm doing, I'm just saying, okay, God, what do you say about that? And He says, heart of man plans his ways, but the Lord establishes his steps. Proverbs 16:9. Okay, I get it. God's going to order my steps. I have to work like that. And then I have to understand what revamping means. What am I going to do? Remember, I was struggling trying to execute execute those programs that those curriculums. I don't know. So I have to start from scratch and say, okay, what do I know how to do? I know how to teach. So let's start from scratch. We need phonics. My students don't know. A lot of them don't know the letters, the sounds in English. Now, all my students are Spanish speaking. They go to the Spanish world. I have to teach them the letters in Spanish. I have to teach them the sounds. We have to go put some words together. So we're starting with we have short vowel sounds. We have open and closed syllables. And next week, I already know it's going to be long A sound. And we're going to work on that so we can read, spell some things. So we're working on that. And I'm just going back. As a matter of fact, my revamping is going back to the old way of doing things. And if people have a problem, I don't know what to tell you, because I have to educate my students. I know we have these curriculum. So phonics, we don't even have any phonics yet. So I'm using the phonics I had last year. I started out with the foundations that they said we're going to use. Kind of didn't work for me because I need to teach the students reading, having strategies right at the beginning. I got some of the strategies from that, sounding out the words. We got that. I need some more concrete that'll help them read faster, help them catch on faster. That's what benchmark does. Not supposed to use it when we get the foundations. That's when I'll use it. Not every teacher knows foundations, so it can't be a problem for me, because we have a lot of new teachers who don't know foundations. So it can't be a problem for me to teach my students how to read. That's what I want to do. Teach them how to spell, sound out words, learn diagrams, learn the sounds, all that. So we're working on that. And that's revamping, but it's going back to what I did last year and it worked. Then we have our math. I have to stay on board on the same lessons with the other teacher. So what I have to do, it takes my students longer. I'm in English, they're in Spanish, she's in Spanish. I don't know how I'm going to make this work when we go back, but I had to grab my small groups, teach my small groups in small group, different spellings, different math strategies, and then send them on their way, give them 10 minutes at a time. It's kind of difficult, but I can get 8 students that way, 8 to 10 students that way. Maybe 8 together and then 2 on the side and doing something different at the same time. So you just have to restructure what we're doing. I don't know how else to say that, but restructuring, we have to sit down and make a plan and then pray on that plan, because like he says, we have our own plans, but God will order our steps. Like He's going to establish it. make our steps concrete. This is where it is. Next time you come back, you're going to step right back in the same spot. So I'm not here to pretend I'm something that I'm not. I know that I can teach. Today I had so much. I gave a student, he had so much joy today because he's just copying whatever he sees somebody else doing. He's not trying to learn it. He doesn't understand any words that I'm saying, maybe a couple. I could send him to the door, say, close the door. He doesn't know. I say, go back to the door and walk in quietly. He don't know what I say. He'll try to close the door. That's what he would do. I have a couple of students who do that. They don't know. I send him over to my desk and get a pencil. He doesn't know. So I have to work with him a little differently. And today I helped him with his math, and I did it one-on-one. I used manipulatives. This is not where we are. I had to differentiate for him. And so I had to give him the manipulatives of the tens and the ones. We worked with that until he was able to do a couple on his own. He was so happy. I put a sticker on his paper. When we got ready to leave, to go home, he gave me a big hug. He never hugged me before. He was so happy he was able to learn something today that he can utilize. He could go home with and say, I know how to add two-digit addition, right? Using manipulatives. He may not be able to do it on his own. I'm going to show him how to draw it when we come back. And we're going to work on it because this is our job to differentiate. This is our job to educate. And we have to get it together. We have to figure it out. And a lot of times that means closing your door and not worrying about what the outside world, the administration has to say, because they're not in the classroom. They're acting like dictators. Do this and it doesn't work for you. It might work for Miss Jane down the hallway, Miss Johnson up the other end of the class, the school. It might not work for you. You have to be able to figure out what works, restructure how you do things. Come in. You may have to do a little bit of class management to get it to work. I have to have conversations with my students to make it work. My students, we had a problem getting in line. This week I said, no, this is what we're going to do. We get in line, we're going to face forward. I don't want to hear what somebody's doing behind you. Don't tell me. If you don't even know if you're facing forward, we have to work on that. I picked them up from gym. They're all over the place. No, what are we doing? How do we line up? No matter where you are, you may have to do some more class management with what you are doing in this restructuring, this revamping, this overhaul that you're taking in order to educate your students. This is our job. I understand there are people who say they are experts and they know what to do. They've done it in another district. Their other district is not your district. Their district was so great they should have. Well, come on. I know not everything you could bring. Things that we do in Trenton, I can't take to Princeton. Things that they're doing in Princeton, I can't take to Trenton until we start from the bottom going up. Maybe when they get to first grade and second grade and third grade, maybe you could continue that. But just to say, come in second grade, this is what we're going to do. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. I just want to say, once you decide that you're going to go, you're going to do what God says to do, you're going to let him order our steps, just go. Because guess what? He's going to show you. You might not know what you're going to do or how you're going to execute this plan, this lesson plan. Is it going to work next week? Sometimes you have to just start moving and then you'll get the direction. Start moving and it'll flow and the students will give you the direction. They'll say, I don't understand. You have to stop right there. I have to, with this program, even like I said, with the math, how everything goes slower with my students, the math, I have to figure out a way to make it work with both classes, the English and the Spanish, because hers can go faster. Right now, I have to stop. When I get back, I have to stop and reteach some two-digit addition. That's what we are, but they have shown us so many different strategies. I don't quite remember. I remember doing tens and ones on the place value chart. Maybe that's what we're going to do. I just can't think why they're showing us all this stuff in 1 week at the same time, because my students are having a struggle with it. So I had to grab some students, sit them at the table. Let's do it this way. And I showed other students, let's do it this way with the manipulatives and with the tens and the ones, and let's do the compensation method at the same time. I had 10 minutes and 10 minutes. So we have to restructure, we have to listen. Remember, the Bible says, in all our ways acknowledge him. So if I keep on thinking in my head, I'm going to acknowledge God. Okay, God, I can't do this without you. Then he'll make that way, that path straight. And if you watch and listen to your students, listen to what you hear and what you know in your heart, you have to listen to that inner voice, that inner sound. That's God. And he'll say, no, they didn't get that. Let's try it this way. No, they got that, but these students over here didn't. So what are we going to do for these students? So you can get it. I promise you, if we listen and we take our time. Right now, up until today, sometimes I keep looking at the clock. I'm running out of time because it's taking so long and they don't get it. I'm giving them review questions in math that they come with the book and they're answering. It might have, which one of these, it's 4 equations. Which equations have that the sum is an even number? This is today. They know even numbers. They didn't get it. They're writing down each question. Each equation had the answer. 8 plus 8, 7 plus 6, with the answers. 4 plus 4, 5 plus 5. The answers are there. They should know doubles already are even numbers. But we went so fast. We did even numbers probably 2 days. I don't believe we did it longer than 2 days, maybe 3. But they didn't get it and they don't remember. Plus, they're English language learners. So I have to, we have to go back, and it's taking so long. Why is this taking you 10 minutes to do these 4 review questions? So this is something that we have to understand, that we have to. The Bible says the steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way. So let us do what God wants us to do. He'll delight in us, and he will establish our steps. He will. And I don't know if that resonates with anybody, because I don't know. This is what's happening with me in my district, where I'm struggling with so much at the same time. New curriculums, math. Thank God I did math. If I didn't do math last year, I would be kind of like really having a hard time. So math, we have literacy, science, social studies. Again, social studies, we don't really have social studies. We have some social studies things online, and they want us to use that, but that doesn't even make. See what I'm talking about? I'm not even going there. So we want God to set up our steps, with a firm foundation. So if we delight in him, okay, let's say I'm not going to keep getting frustrated. I'm going to pass these tests. What happened with me, this is, I believe, I don't know. You know how life and death are in the power of our tongue. What we say, we have to speak positive. We have to speak life. A lot of times I kept saying, I keep failing this test. I'm failing this test. I fail this test. I'm not going to fail the test anymore. I'm going to pass the test by doing revamping. What I'm doing, a great overhaul, right? So I'm doing this overhaul in me and in how I teach, which is not even really that. It's just going back to what I did last year, how I did it. Just follow it, understand the students, where I have to stop and pause and say, wait, they're not getting this. Let's start over. This is what I have to do, because this is not working. What I'm doing, getting frustrated, trying to run around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to do what everybody's telling me to do, but it doesn't work. And again, the teacher has to have, I know they keep saying the buy-in and all that, but the teacher has to have a firm foundation in order to teach. If everything is rocky, students are not going to learn. I know this is I don't care. This is something, I don't care if there's no administration listening, but we are, and we can go back and talk to our administration and say, I need a firm foundation. Let me make it firm. Let me work on my foundation, learning what I need to do. I know it's report card time, the end of the market period. I understand that, but I need to establish myself. Let God establish me. You're not going to say that, but you're going to say, I need to be established in where I am, right? I have to be firm. I have to have a firm foundation. I cannot work in chaos, because students will not learn. You can say what you want. Students will not learn because students can't learn if you can't teach it. We have to be able to teach what it is they want us to teach. My goal, I'm a second grade teacher. My goal is to teach students how to read, spelling patterns. They need to know spelling patterns so they can read. So this is where I am. This is what I'm here for. What is it that we need? We need to have a firm foundation. Educators with oil, we have a strong foundation in ourselves, and then we have to have a firm foundation in what we're teaching. If we understand what we're teaching, let's get it, and don't worry about what the administration. I know people. Somebody said, "I understand what you're saying, but you still have to do what they tell you to do." Yes, I am doing what they tell me to do. There's a way to teach the curriculum in a way that works for you. You teach it. Follow it. I promise you, you follow any curriculum step by step, you got it. You're going to teach the kids. The kids are going to learn. But at the same time, you have to know what it is. You have to understand it. You have to be able to articulate it to your students because, again, my students, half of them, probably more than half, do not understand what I'm saying. So if I teach them, this is what I do. If I teach them phonics, we are supposed to be teaching phonics second grade, teaching them phonics. And as I teach the phonics sounds and I teach a word, I do a little ESL because how are they going to know what I'm talking about? Little ESL. We had the word napkin today. We were putting that 2 syllables together. We had silent, napkin, napkin. What is a napkin in English? Why do you call that? What do you do with a napkin? Somebody say you wipe your mouth with it. Wipe your mouth with it. What do you call that in Spanish? Servieta. What is a servieta? You wipe your mouth with it. We understand. That's napkin. I say napkin. At your house, you say servieta. You got it? We got it. Then we have the word. What is another word we had? I just said silent. What does it mean to be silent if we're walking in the hallway? We're silent, right? What is that? How do you say that? And then they give me the word for silent in Spanish. We got it. Now this is silent. Let me show you silent in English. And then everybody got quiet and we showed silent. That's silence, right? We got it. So you have to do that ESL work. You have to do the ESL work. We got to get this stuff where we feel strong in what we're doing. Once we feel strong, and again, when you hear me talking, a lot of times is what is on my mind. I need to get another person on here who is talking about that mental health aspect. We had a nurse talk about our physical health. We need to come back and talk about our mental health because if we let these people, we will be stressed out always. I had to take off a week and a half of work. I could have taken off another week because the day I was going back, the day before, my headache came back. It only was gone for 4 days and my headache came back. So that was because I was stressed out about what is going to happen when I get back to the classroom. I can't be walking around like that. So we have to get ourselves together and be able to execute these lessons for these students and making sure that they are learning what we are teaching. We're educators. Let us be educators. Be an educator. If you want to be an educator, be that. Don't work on being an educator. Educate. Every day, I don't care if you figure they didn't learn what I was trying to teach them. Make sure every day they learn something that you're trying to teach them in each subject. They learn something. I don't care if it's something simple like that. Really wasn't simple, that 2-digit addition. It was something so great. One little boy, he was so excited. The other students who were sitting alongside him, they were happy too. They were able to do solve problems the way I showed them. Then the other students, we could do 2 different strategies. We were able to do that. We were able to sound out words words they thought they could not spell. They were able to spell those words today. Make sure you leave every day, every subject, with most of your students learning something. That's what you're an educator to educate. Don't worry about. I'm here. I refuse right now to be stressed by what administration does. Because if you would have been in my meeting today that I had on my PLC, my goodness, you would have said, what? What? This is what you're doing to the teachers? So you're saying you're redoing something with the grade book right now, when we have conferences next week, the end of the market period is in 2 weeks, and now you're trying to read. What? You would have saw this from the outside. You would say you need to stop playing. There's no way you're doing this right now. So what about what happens with the work we just put in? That kind of stuff. So you have to not worry about what they're doing over there. Worry about what you're doing. You close your door, start working with your students. Make sure they're educated, and I promise you, the end of the year, if you follow the curriculums, you follow what you need to differentiate. And I hate saying that word. That's so differentiate. Yes, with your students, and know where they are, who's on this level. Let's get together. Let's make this work. Give them things to work on it. I promise you, come the end of the year, your students will have it. I did it last year. Nothing on paper. I hear Myron Golden say, that thing has no brain. It cannot defeat me. So a curriculum cannot defeat me. What the administration, some directives that they give me, cannot defeat me. My students are going to learn. I'm going to teach my students. I'm going to educate my students. I got this. I don't care. We're going to do this thing. And again, if you have any questions, I know we're live. I don't know. I ask questions. But if you are here, I don't know who's here. If that's just me, or is that just me? I think that's just me. I'll tell you in a second. If I delete that, is that person gone? That person's gone. That's just me. Maybe. So any questions? Always send a question. Always make a comment, because I'm here. I am here. This is it. I'm going to try. I want to make this thing work constantly. I want to be here constantly. Always. If I'm here, you could jot a question or a comment, add to it. If you want to come on with me, you can. I know if you don't see it today, you'll know next week I'll be here. And I want to be here every week. Monday, I switched to Mondays for a reason, because of Tuesdays. But Monday, hopefully I can make it here in time. I want to be every Monday at 6. So Monday, I'll be here at 6. I have, what do I have? Next Monday, I have a staff meeting. We get out at 4:15. I should be home by 5. Yeah, I can make it every Monday at 6 o'clock. I want to be here, and I want to make this work for you. I want to make this work for us. I want this to be a space for teachers where we could come and give advice, get advice. So I know the last 2 weeks I was not here. That was a little stuff going on, my headache, and then that my camera, with I have little technical difficulties. So I'm here right now, and I hope you got something from this. I don't know if I said this already. Some of this stuff I have said it already. It's just, this is what I'm going through right now. So this is what I know I'm working on. We're working on it together, and that is going and let God show us along the way. That is teaching to the curriculum, even if you have to do piece by piece and you might not get it. You may not have time to study it like you want to study it. You have to understand your students, follow it. And if you're in a DLI, like me, dual language instruction framework, if you're with that, you have to get with your teacher and let the teacher know. Let somebody know, I can't keep up. If you're the English part, I cannot keep up with the Spanish part. What are we going to do about this? We have to figure this out, because not only can you just not keep laying it on the teacher, the teacher has to let other people know this is what's happening. Talk with your co-teacher, see what it is, your partner teacher, see what we can do. That's what I have to do. I'm going to meet with her again. Maybe I can meet with her tomorrow before I go away. And we have to get this thing together, because we are excellent teachers. We're good at what we do. We just keep, as long as they throw something at us, we have to revamp, restructure ourselves, and overhaul. It doesn't have to be a complete overhaul. See where it is, take that ball and hit it out of the park. Hit it out of the park. I promise you that's what I'm about to do. Hit it out of the park like I did last year. Last year I had it so Well, then I had a learning loss teacher as a partner. Oh my goodness, my students who could not read well, they were reading so much better, and they went levels up, so many levels. One student waited to the last month in May in May to move up, because I was like, "What? You did this?" Because he took a minute, he didn't move up. So we had to be able to hit this stuff out the park, figure out how to do it. Notice our students. Me is different because I have 48 students. I don't care what they give me. I might complain all the way through, but I promise you, my students are going to learn before this year is out. They're going to learn. They're going to move up in their reading. They're going to be English speakers. They're going to be bilingual for sure. And we're going to have this. We're going to have this. As long as my students come to school every day and we get to work. Another thing that I have before I go is, this is what I do with my students. And this is what I promise my students. So every day they'll look for it. Last year they're like, when is our break? I learned, I don't know what the country was that I learned about. I can't remember, like Finland or somewhere in Europe, where oh my God. Oh shucks, what happened here? I don't know what this is. Oh my, something happened on my computer. Okay, where I work hard. We do literacy. We work hard. We do phonics. We do some writing. We do some reading. We work hard. Then they take 10-minute break. Turn on the timer. 10 minutes. When I say you have 1 minute left, that means you start cleaning up right there. Don't wait till the alarm goes off, because at that 10 minutes, that's when it's done. That's when you're going to work. Then when we do math, we work hard. We learn the math. We do practice. Then you get down and you do your math work. When it's over, take a 10-minute break. And during that break, they play. No work. No work. They are playing. They are reading if they want to read. They are writing if they want to write. They're drawing. I have little science games, science things. They have Jenga, whatever. They totally relax for 10 minutes every day. After literacy, after math. This is what I do. This works. You can do research on that. Actually works. So this is what I suggest, and it works for me. Talk to your principal. Everybody knows students need a brain break. So if a principal, a district says your students can't have a brain break, then they don't understand education. Nobody can work nonstop for 4 hours. No, how many would it be? 3 hours nonstop. You don't want to. Why? You need a brain break too. You need a chance, that 10 minutes, to help you regroup for the next subject while they're taking that brain break. So that's what I suggest. Talk to whoever you need to, in case they come in and your students are playing. I remember last year, my boss came in and said, they can't play all the time, Miss Branham. They're not playing. You know they have a brain break. Every day, you don't come in the same time. If you won't want to see them playing, don't come in the same time every day. You'll come in at 10:20, you know they're having a brain break. Period. Don't come in at 10:20. You know it. I know it. We all know it. So you think they're playing every time you coming in? You think they're always playing? They're not. We work hard, very hard, and then we relax. So discuss this with your principal. She could come in and see them playing like they had a break. Why they need a break? Yes, they need a break. You need a break. I promise you, go to a factory and work all day, and then work for 2 hours. You're going to be looking for your break. Who's going to come relieve me? I know I worked in a factory, worked in a few factories. So that's what I say. That's what I suggest. Believe me or don't, look up the research behind it. You will find it. And that is what I have. If you have any comments, you could comment back on Facebook, on Instagram, or LinkedIn. Not Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Not Instagram. I keep saying that. LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Give me a comment. Say what it is. If there's a subject, something you want to talk about, I don't mind. I'll talk about anything. I could talk for days on end. So, and then this is my joy. This is where I am alive, and I love this. I love talking to fellow teachers. I love helping fellow teachers. I love listening to fellow teachers. So this is what I love. This is what makes me come alive. If you can see it, feel it, this is where I am. So again, I'm Ronnette Branham, your host or hostess, however you want to say it, for Educators with Oil. I am here for you to offer biblical strategies for effective teaching. Again, thank you for having me in your home, on your computer, on your phone, wherever you have me. Thank you for inviting me along. I appreciate it. Again, have a blessed day.